about them, we should actually start to develop these issues together and also link to the grassroots and to the people, not only to the big shots in these conflict areas, but to linking to the youth and younger people, helping them in the education, helping to get the contacts to the world and so forth. I will finish here. Thank you.
Next, let's welcome the panel, and Aape Pohjavirta will moderate the panel. Join me in welcoming them. Please come.
Okay, while the panel organizes itself, that mic is for the panelists. Yes. So hi, my name is Aape, and I'm happy and proud to see you here. Proud because I'm one of the initiators of this event. Happy because the future is what we make of it. The future of our planet, of humanity on our planet, is defined. If you go look into the mirror, you're the only ones who decide and define the future of our planet. On this panel, we have people from various backgrounds. We start with the lady, and this is a lucky
lady.
The lady. So if
the lady wave.
If each of the panelists would then introduce themselves with a tweet length, that's 140 characters, including spaces. Why are you here? Is a simple task. Everyone has 3 seconds to do it.
Great, thanks. It's like women first to the... Okay. Maria Mekri, Safer Globe, Executive Director, Finnish think tank on peace and security.
Okay, hi, it's working. I'm Hani Tarabishi, originally from Damascus, Syria, at Aalto University, working on innovation management and collaborative innovation for marginalized communities.
Pekka, we know.
You know me already.
Timo Honkela, Helsinki University, developing peace machine, a futuristic idea.
Mikael Langivainen, Infoglobe Ltd, Finnish technology startup, basically a spin-off from CMI. See a couple of colleagues here, former colleagues, guarding me when I'm talking here. Basically, we are building common understanding between people, mainly conflict parties in various conflicts with CMI and other organizations as well. So we are developing technology for peace.
3 seconds, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mika Velitalo. I work for Plan International Finland, there as a technology and innovation specialist, and I've been passionate about the potential of technology in development for quite a long time already, so happy to be here.
Good. Now this panel, and my background is I currently run a startup that is a world leader in using mobile technology to deliver learning, to give people access to quality learning so that they can educate themselves to create a better planet, better life for themselves. So that's what I do. The intent of this panel, of this whole event, is simple. We want to bridge the gap between researchers, non-governmental organizations, technology specialists, private and public funding mechanisms, and engage the future, the creators of the future, to create a better humanity, to create a better future, to create a world full of peace. So that's the whole idea. So you are engaged, and you are a part of the community with a shared responsibility of creating a better world, okay? So we're all in this together. Now, Maria, if you look at tech, and if you look at the explanation of Stanford, hi Stanford, so how they describe Peacetech, do you have any basic, how do you see this? Is there something that you would like to address that they forgot to mention?
Well, my background is as a peace researcher. I'm supposed to actually be talking quite loudly into this microphone, so I hope that you can all hear me. But also, I have worked in Liberia after the Liberian crisis. So what I actually naturally gravitate towards are the worst of the worst situations. So I think about the horrible conflicts, not just because they're horrible, but because if we can improve them even a tiny little bit, even 1/10 of 1%, if you can scale that, that's amazing. That's the improvement in life quality of millions of people. And so that's why the worst of the worst places are also the places which have the most amazing potential in some ways, and the most complex problems. And perhaps that's the next point, is that what we're seeing, and this is perhaps the point that Stanford was making in a slightly different way, what we are seeing is complexity, and the answers that we have now are not dealing with the complexity very well. We are thinking in very linear ways of very complicated, complex problems where things change all the time. So we need to change the way that we think. And technology in some ways can really help us think about more complex systems. With Oskari Eronen from CMI, we're both, for example, really interested in IT planning mechanisms. How do they do that? Agile planning mechanisms. And can we transport that somehow into conflict situations? The other thing that is a kind of a growing and important thing to note is that are the marginalized, vulnerable populations, and how we can use technology so that we don't end up preaching to the converted, that we don't look at just the people who come to the table with us, but we are able to reach out to the people who don't come to the table with us, who are disabled, for example. This is the numbers of disabled is growing rapidly in the Middle East at the moment, exponentially. So how do we create technology that is usable by the newly disabled population? And perhaps as the final kind of challenge that we have in peace building is that in peace building, something has gone wrong in the societies when conflict breaks up. So something in those societies needs to change so that we don't end up in a conflict cycle. But change itself always also creates conflict. So you end up having a kind of a catch-22 where some change is necessary, but friction is also possible.
Okay, cool. Now, Timo, we know that you're building the peace machine. You will use tech and ICT and all the great experience you and the colleagues have made, and you will do the things that she says are complex, right?
Yes, exactly.
Good.
And the basic idea there is that we know a lot through different sciences, linguistics, psychology, history, and so on. So social sciences, humanities there, and then we have all the technology, mathematics, computer science. So how to put these together? And there are three main ideas. So first of all, we don't communicate well enough, especially over borders of experience, education, culture, and so on. So it's one of those challenges. It happens internationally, but it's also relevant even within families. So there's a lot of family even violence where actually we need something improved communication, which can be actually improved through technology. And then we have to deal with our emotions. So we have the emotional component, which is a part of our neurons are actually in our heart, if you didn't know that. And then we have the inner part of our brain contains those neurons which are responsible for dealing with the first things that we experience at any moment. And when they are being kind of influenced by that emotion system, then we have this so-called rational mind, which is divided into two parts, which is linguistic oriented here, and then large, vast area of intuitive thinking, which is very has a lot of capacity, but of course it requires experience and can be in a certain way also misled. We have hugely complex human cognitive system, emotional system, and then we have the social level, etc. We are dealing with hugely complex systems, the scientific understanding of which has been increased vastly, which is very difficult to deal with because it's so multidisciplinary. And then now we start to have technology which we can actually use to analyze these phenomena. We can use them to simulate, we can emulate, we can have empathetic systems which we can take from our pocket and which can say that, hello John, now you feel sad or angry or something like that, and please take my note that you could actually contact Liz and have a chat with her, or you could listen to this piece of advice or this piece of music, etc., etc., etc. All kinds of things. There are thousands of things at a very grassroots level, and this will take for sure during the decades to come. And if we use it properly, the first keynotes gave a great directions how to use these technologies, and among those I would like these to take place.
Okay, so Timo, so she sees the challenges, you put them into the machine and the machine works and spits them out as a solution to honey. You come from a place that is well known from the news.
Unfortunately. Very unfortunately, yes.
What technology are people using today in your hometown?
State-of-the-art technology is being used by people